Um, Now I'm going to read out of this book and see if it makes any logic sense to you. This, I think, is the most profound information that I have ever found. I would suggest reading this book. It's called The Dance of Life by Dr. Vernon Wolf, the creator of Holodynamics, which claims to be a tool that can solve every problem known to the human experience. It's extremely scientific. It's using the cutting edge sciences, physics, biology, neurology, holographics, and information theory. Um, I'm kind of angry at the guy because he's been curing cancer, AIDS, all mental illness. He's been solving some major problems for more than 30 years, so it's proven science, and yet his books are not on the bestsellers list. And for a great part of that is he's not greedy. If the guy was greedy, then he'd know how to market and the books would be on the bestsellers list. So while this information is really good, it doesn't identify the unknown problem. If he was able to look at his lack of sales as a problem, he would have found out what his solutions are. So he couldn't see his own unknown problem. And that's basically what we're doing is we can't see the problems that are within ourselves. We think it's coming from outside, and as long as we always perceive things from an outside perspective, we don't have any power. So I'm going to read from this book with his forgiveness. I'm reading out of his books, probably stealing copyrights, but in his own books he basically says how the legal system is dysfunctional. So sue me and I'll use your own books to prove that the justice system isn't even functioning. Plus, I got no money, so you can't sue me. At the same time, every information in there is he's pulled it from everybody else. So it's not even his own work. It's a study of everybody else's work, and he's just sort of grouped it together to create something different. Um, I'm grouping your words off this book and making it my own as well because you kind of contradict yourself. And I probably contradict myself, but here goes. Here's the reading, and you guys see what you think. Um, realize that one of the greatest discoveries of my life was the realization that we live in a universe made of information. When scientists look far enough into subatomic particles, they find that nothing is solid. There is no little atoms or particles down inside reality. At the very smallest dimension of things, everything is made of a little spinners of information, standing waves of information in motion. To better understand these spinners, we must put on the glasses of holographics. Reality, as we experience it, is a holographic projection in which the form of matter comes from the interaction of our own consciousness with hyperspace. In other words, the source of our reality is beyond the limits of time and space. This discovery has powerful implications for you and me. What we find is that all matter, all creatures, you and I, everything is made of spinners of information, and so everything is constantly in motion. Although almost everything looks to you and me as though it's solid and stable, we cannot deny we live in a dynamic universe. As we explore more deeply into our universe, we also discover that it is not only dynamic, it is also multi-dimensional. In order to explain something as simple as gravity, we must understand at least 10 dimensions of reality. Most of us are only aware of 4 dimensions of reality: height, width, depth, and time. Within those other 6 or more dimensions, we discover that everything is holographic and connected, and everything is conscious. Woven within the hidden dimensions of our conscious universe are the keys to our survival, the solutions to every one of our problems, and the power to create sustainable future. If we fail at anything, it is because we fail to understand the nature of our own consciousness and the consciousness of nature, of reality, and of time. It is most in its most pristine state. Consciousness is a significant dance. Whether it is high in the mountain meadows or deep in the darkest abyss of oceans, we are participants in the dance of life in the middle of a multidimensional conscious universe. I want to share both the experience and the physics of this dance. Now, it goes on to explain some of his experiences of how to calm down, how to get into nature. You have to get into a peaceful state, and once your spinners are speeding fast, then that is negative. When you're calm, when these spinners are calm, then you're thinking more from your higher self. You will experience more of a loving experience, and that's when you tap into this. This author was working in Russia, and when they were trying to transform it from a war mentality to a peace mentality. And so further in this book, I'll pick another spot in the next video, but a lot of people within Russia know about this stuff. But he was trying to unfold their full potential, and while doing so, some people that weren't really understanding what his work were, they were full of fear, and he was poisoned with high-grade uranium. And he ended up curing himself. And through the process, what he was doing, like when he was finding his answers to cure his own illness from this high-grade uranium, he also discovered how we can transform all toxic waste into pure, clean energy. One aspect that I see is he further explains that we need to learn more about unconditional love. When somebody does harm to you, that again is when you can do harm back. That's how evil is transferred. When you can forgive your enemies and see that your enemy is actually driving you towards your solution. I mean, look at this Gulf oil. We can either use this as our destruction, or we can use this as a positive to wake ourselves up, get rid of all of our hates, and start loving each other, and learn more deeply what the meaning of love is, what the meaning of unconditional love actually is. When you look at these people that are in power, the only reason they are in power is because you are buying their stuff and you are doing their labor. They are actually mentally ill. I've noticed people that are mentally ill, homeless on the streets. And I've watched thousands of people drive by these people that are mentally ill and offer no help whatsoever. They're just like throwaway society. We don't know how to help our neighbors. So when you see these people in power, look at them from a perspective they are mentally ill. If you see somebody that's mentally ill on the street, would you kick them? Would you kill them? If you have a member of your own family that's mentally ill, how do you treat them? Do you treat them with love, or do you throw them away? They can be transformed into love too, but it is us as a whole that can heal them. But we cannot give them power. We cannot do what they want us to do, which is to be evil, to be angry. They profit off of your anger. You give them power. When you give them love, you actually kill them because they cannot sustain. They cannot do what they're doing if you throw them love. Love and understanding is not what they want on a conscious level. From a subconscious level, yes, that's what they want. They're trying to solve problems, but they think they know all of the answers because they're using their own angry minds to come up with solutions. But we are the driving force to make them find out their own answers, but we have to find our answers first. Please move on to the next, and I'll continue reading some more. Peace out.